know how much I need to explain or.
That's a good idea. I was hoping you'd bring your graphic organizer thing. Did
Yeah,
you bring that?
yeah.
I think I've seen it before, but.
This one?
Yes. I have seen it before.
This is a newer one, but something like this last year.
Yeah. I used
Okay.
to use one sometimes. Okay, and just a reminder with our PSYOP class, they wanted us to kind of look at background knowledge.
Right.
Okay, and there's some questions
And I
here.
thought we were also doing comprehensible input this time.
Well, for this particular one, we're just going to do background knowledge, okay?
Okay.
Because the comprehensible input actually goes into the next
Okay.
lesson. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
I think for our purposes with ours is just to keep it on one set of questions at a time. Otherwise, it's just too much.
Sure. I
You know
I
what I'm
thought we
saying?
were switching to that gear, so
Well,
it's okay.
the new lesson, but you and I had not done this one yet.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So anyway, okay, so I picked out a question that I kind of thought maybe we should talk about, and if there's some question that you want to talk about off of this sheet, because they give you more than enough to talk
Right.
about. So anyway, so what I've done here is I have your lesson plan up here,
Right.
and then on this screen I put our observation form that I'll use for when I'm actually in your classroom.
Sure.
And some things, there's a couple questions that I will add as well as, onto this. So, okay, I think I understand what you're doing for your lesson. They're going to be picking out main ideas through some articles did you read the articles to them or they read the articles?
They read the article. Well, last week I assigned articles in Newsella.
Okay,
If you never use Newsella, you need to know that it's online current event articles that are also written at 4 Lexile levels.
yes,
And so students were given choice among assigned articles of 12.
okay,
And then within that choice, they were allowed to pick which Lexile range they were going to read.
okay.
And I showed them their
saw-
scores
Mhm.
within the campus, and we kind of said, okay, is that too hard? Is that too easy? And I reviewed some of that with grading this weekend, and I realized, okay, the directions are what I expected they would be able to do. Didn't quite have it. So I picked what seemed like the median Lexile range and
Okay.
the most popular choice that they were viewing, and
Sure.
said, we're all reading this together.
Okay.
So I'm modeling an article of what I wanted them to do. And then by the end of this week, they'll get Wednesday, Thursday, Friday to review the articles they did last week. To not only fix the hashtag summaries, but then to make the hashtags into a full-fledged paragraph.
Okay.
So that's period 3, and I didn't remember if you were seeing 3 or 4 today.
3.
So 3 is reading this one. That's about, I forget what's that level, it's not printed.
It's about Anne Frank.
It's about Anne Frank and Syrian refugees.
Okay.
So if you
perfect.
compare all 4 titles in Lexile range, that helped them see that it wasn't about Anne Frank. And the more we read and underlined keywords or ideas, the more they realized there's 2 things going on in compare and contrast. So we wrote 4 hashtag summaries. Refugees struggle, same problem 75 years, keep USA safe, and worried ISIS among refugees.
How, pertinent to what's going on today. That's great.
Right.
And then, do they make up these hashtag things themselves, or
Based on what we underlined.
Based-
We
okay.
talked about that as a class.
class? Okay.
So then I
Okay.
said, okay, I want you guys to take the hashtags and put them in order on the hamburger organizer. Because you're going to give us
Okay.
the main ideas,
Yes.
the top and the bottom. We talked yesterday about summarizing is kind of like a sandwich. You can have any variety of sandwich with stuffings, fillings, but you have to have on roll or bun or bread. There has to be something to
to
put
hold
together.
it together.
And that has to be your idea and then a recap. And so we picked a hashtag and said, well, this one's kind of like this one, but this one's more the compare contrast idea.
Yes,
And this one
yes.
is that it's just been hard.
Yes.
And I said, well, what you need to know in the middle from this article is that it was Anne Frank and their family. And that was new information as of 2007. That an institute found that they were working
Oh.
with a group in the United States to try to get the visas to come. But
Really?
laws in the United States at the time had quotas and made it really difficult. And so then they said, well, it's kind of like the reasons then and the reasons now are we want to keep the United States safe. We don't want to let foreigners in. And that what's happening now is that there's a push to get 300,000 refugees to come in, or no, 10,000 Syrians.
Right.
There was 300,000 in World War II. But that they're worried about ISIS coming in among the refugees because how do you screen?
Right.
Again, this paperwork issue. And so that's what the kids said was the most important if you hadn't been here to read the whole thing.
How do the kids seem to be reacting to this information? Are they seeming interested in this?
Yeah, a lot of it is they don't have a lot of background information. So when you said that, I kind of winced. Like, oh,
Yeah.
we spent a lot of time yesterday with Lily's man and they wanted opinions or details. And I said, this is the short, go ask your history teacher. This is what you know, look up some documentaries, look up some films, but some of them were amazed and shocked about some of the things that happened in World War II.
Didn't have any idea.
Like they didn't fully understand a concentration camp, or they didn't understand a work camp, or they didn't understand how the Nazis were able to get away with, and they didn't know to what extent things happened in that time period around 42 to 46.
Sure.
So we were talking about, well, why would that happen, or how did that happen? And I said, I don't know a lot about the Middle Eastern stuff. It's sort of been unfolding over a decade. I said, but again, this is my understanding from what I've read in current events. Please go ask researchers, dig around the internet, use your 15-minute free read to do some non-fiction reading.
Sure.
So they are curious. We looked up on a map where Syria was, so they have some idea.
So that would help them. And do any of the students in there have relatives, or were any of them from refugee camps themselves?
There might be one,
One.
but that one does not talk to me about that sort of stuff.
Okay.
There is a student that emigrated from an African country nearish to Syria, but not. I mean, it's on that coastline,
Sure.
Eritrea.
Okay.
But she's okay talking about her immigration status and the way she came, because she and her family came for different reasons, and she's not through trauma. So
Sure. It really does make a difference on what their situation was, because some of them just want to block it out. But this is something that maybe some of them, I thought maybe might have more background knowledge on than maybe some of our own students that have, generation after generation, have lived here in Marshalltown, because they have no idea what it's like to be in a refugee camp.
right.
And the one year I had 2 students show pictures of their refugee camp and what they lived in and how that related to fashion. It really unfolded a lot of things for the whole class, and appreciation for those 2 students and understanding why it was so difficult. And they had no idea at all. No idea. Those students had never seen a computer before, had never seen a Hy-Vee at the grocery store, just things like that. So,
We spent
okay.
a lot of time yesterday talking about the idea of refuge, a safe
Good.
space, and that's why that's up here.
Wonderful.
And so
Okay.
that immigrants come for
So-
different reasons, refugees come for a safe place.
So then that's what you will teach. You're going to model it today,
We're gonna finish it today.
finish it, okay? And then that's when you will help them then next with modeling their text that they started on Monday. So they've started this Monday.
We
Is
did
that
all
what you
this
said?
yesterday,
Or
yep.
yesterday,
Yep.
which is Monday.
Monday.
Okay, so now the students then are going to go back to the articles they picked last week and apply this to the, so they're going to start a new one of these.
Correct.
Is that what
So
you're
if
saying?
their hashtags were unfinished, incomplete, or not very good, they're gonna need to reread and resubmit hashtags
Okay,
through Google Form, which will
Okay.
help them put it on this.
Right.
So they'll have a blank one of these.
right.
And then their job is to say, how can I write a complete sentence with this idea?
Okay,
So we're also kind of sneaking and paraphrasing, because I don't want them copying from the text article. It's not 5 sentences copy pasted.
yes.
So
Everybody might have a different article then.
at a different level with different vocabulary words, and that's why
That's
building
why it's-
background's gonna be a little tricky, because
Yeah.
I can't differentiate 24 things.
Yeah, but you still have the summary, main idea, detail.
Right,
You
and
know,
that's
it's-
why too, that you said with at the top resources, I said they can use online dictionary, they can
Yes,
use
I see
links,
that.
they can use Google Images, they can use, so if they come
Lots
across a
of
word they
choices.
don't know,
Right. That's what they can use. Okay.
or read aloud, and when you said who's reading it, some of them through their IEP do have that option. So we've been trying to use the add-on extensions like iSpeech or Rewrite in the corner with Chrome browser.
And are they pretty familiar with how to use them? Will they need assistance?
Depends on the student.
Okay.
Depends how often we use it and if it's playing nice today. Some websites it works better with some. So
By chance, would any of them be reading the same article out of the
there are a few, yeah.
Okay, because one of my questions here is how do you engage students in rich discussion to share a broad background and perspectives? So as I can tell what you did with this one, you discussed this and that was a rich discussion, it sounds like, in order to come up with those hashtags.
I guess I've been thinking more about when we ask kids in core classes or on assessment, they don't get to have rich discussion. And so if I don't make them work in that context, they're going to be frozen like deer in headlights when that comes. So I'm kind of pushing the issue, hoping that they will use other resources for the time being, because you have to rely on your own skills.
Sure. And that's what we do, is we teach them these skills that they can use right places. I just wondered if there was two students that might be reading the same article, if there was a chance for them to maybe discuss between the two of them to come up with some main ideas if they were struggling.
If I see that on the teacher's screen in Newsell, I could go and say, hey, this so-and-so's doing the same thing, why don't you buddy up? But
Just
that's going to
because
depend on where they are.
Right. Just because there's one of you and there might be
Right.
10 different articles, and that would allow them some time to have interaction, but also share with what somebody else may know.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's lots of articles on that newsletter.
Yeah, but I assigned 12.
Oh, you
So
assigned 12,
It should be
okay.
a restricted choice.
Okay. Trying to think if there's anything else. Is there anyone in the group that is still having trouble with some of these main vocabulary words like summarize, summary? Do you feel that they are pretty clear on what
There are
that
maybe like
involves?
2. Again, those are students that have an IEP.
Okay.
What Brad noticed last week was that I was changing how I spoke with each student or prompted them in their learning based on what I figured out they knew or didn't know and what I knew about their reading level, their understanding. And he goes, you don't know probably that you're doing that, but you are. And so that was eye-opening and that was really cool.
Yeah. And that's differentiating for each student then, as
Right.
we go through with the day. Okay, if you have a seating chart, that would
Which I don't right now.
okay. If you don't have it right now, that's okay. But
When you observe that you want one, I know. But a lot
Well-
of it is I try to keep that as something that they can manage as a behavior. Once we got
so
to
they're
the
not
year,
sitting in specific seats right now. Is that what you're
They
saying?
tend to gravitate toward the same places.
Yeah,
But it's
that's
pick your
fine.
own good choice seat.
Okay.
If you can't get your work done or you're off task or
Yeah.
having social conversations, I will move your seat.
Okay, that's fine. So I'll just kind of draw my own little chart,
Sure.
and for students, and then just try to give you some notes. Is there anything particular that you would like me to, watch for while I'm observing?
I guess since we're trying to focus on building background, if you see students utilizing images, Wikipedia, thesaurus, dictionary, anything like that, I would be curious to know if they're doing that. I know last week there were 2 or 3 that did intentionally. They said, Miss, can I do this? I said, absolutely.
For images only.
Images is preferred, or Wikipedia for background knowledge. Like one girl was reading about Obama's speech on terrorism last week, Sunday night, and so she wanted to read something about Obama really quick, like where was he from and where did he grow up, and so she found that. So,
Sounds good. What do you think you will see and hear that would be evidence of success? And what data would best help to gauge that impact? So what kind of data would you like me to collect in order to show you the evidence?
So the data I'm going to get through Google Form with what they submit and then what I collect tomorrow when they have time to finish working.
Okay.
I think what I'm going to hear or see is students wrestling with how to write short phrases, not whole sentences. Because some of them really want to put a hashtag in front of a whole sentence. And I'm asking them to not give one word, but to really reduce it to the most essential ideas. And then to expand back into a full sentence of their own design. And that's where I guess if we do find people have common articles or common ideas, I would not be opposed to them working on that. How do I say this together?
Sure.
So conversation, if there is any, should be directed on summarizing hashtags. How do I say, is this the same meaning? And not a bunch of off-taskness stuff.
Definitely.
And some of them yesterday were a little bit like, oh, is Islamic State the same as ISIS? And so we had to talk a little bit about that. But if you're going to write one thing, it's sort of interchangeable.
Yes. Okay. Do you foresee a lot of students using their L1?
The Spanish speakers in my room, yes.
Okay.
That's like 80% of the class. However, right now, 5 of them are on vacation in Mexico, so
Oh.
it's greatly reduced and
Yeah.
it feels very different.
prepare the students for when they went to Mexico for doing some of these lessons? I know you talked about using Google Classroom for them still.
Except some of them said I won't have internet.
Okay.
So, depending on when they were leaving and depending where I was with planning toward the end of the semester, I made a guess. We were still working on Inferring at the time, so I gave them copies of things from the Edge textbooks. Those were the texts I chose to use as far as length and the Lexile level. The graphic organizer I designed or borrowed from Edge or from online, and I explained the hashtag summary things. I stole that from my student teacher, and I thought that was really neat as a comprehension check and as a summarizing tool.
Okay.
And I said, look, if this isn't what exactly we do while you're absent, I will give you credit when you come back in lieu of the other assignments.
Sure.
But understand that you might be a little bit of disadvantage or an advantage depending
Right.
on the semester exam.
Right.
So that's what I did for the students that are gone already. So like these articles, they will not have experienced or practiced because I didn't have them from New
Before
Zealand
you.
printed out.
Sure.
But they will be reading King Arthur and the Legend of King Arthur, and then some nonfiction on actual things they found, like artifacts that are related to King Arthur, which I'm going to do with the whole class in January after the semester exam. So they'll be better prepared there, and that's where I can use them as maybe more models. But I'll give them credit for the inferring work and any summarizing we do from that and nonfiction text features with text evidence
Okay.
in lieu of some of this.
Okay. Okay.
Because it came out to pacing. I wasn't sure where I was going to be.
It'll be just interesting to know, those who do have the internet connection down there, how they might be able to communicate with teachers knowing they have a device now.
I
And
haven't
back and
seen
forth.
comments on Classroom or email from anyone that's struggled.
And how long have they been gone?
Some started beginning of December.
So they've been gone.
And I have
2
some leaving
weeks.
this Friday. I have one leaving next week, and she has to take her semester exam early. And I said, I may not have a room. They'll be gone in January, some are coming back January 20th.
Yes.
So,
We just do the best we can.
yeah. But I
Yeah.
disagree with that fundamentally, and I kind of wish the school policy was different.
And I will tell you that even if the school policy was different, they may still choose
Choose
to
to
go.
go.
Yes, because I had students that actually did not come to the school and talk to the teachers or talk to the school administration prior to going because they knew what they were going to hear, and they just didn't want to engage in the conversation.
I think I'm more worried not about the conversation, the forms, sending work, but having kids come back and have done no work and having been immersed in L1 and then they have to take an L2 semester exam. Because then they're doubly disadvantaged. They haven't practiced the language and they haven't practiced the skills in the language. I wouldn't say the content because I could pick any article
Yes,
or any particular thing.
right.
But I'm worried about, well, what'd you do? Oh, I fiesta'd and I ate chips and I took the animals to pasture and I hung out with my abuela. Well, okay, so what did you do? Oh, I didn't do anything. Well, welcome back. So I'm just nervous about that and trying to make up extra time after school that first week.
It's a true concern. So, okay, is there anything else you would like to discuss in our pre-observation?
I think one other thing is if you see students as you wander around them or watch from your perspective, if they seem to be reading things that are too easy, if you see them
Okay.
using the 300 or 500 Lexile and they're whipping through it, maybe suggesting that they take the next Lexile range and see if they have to upgrade or tweak what they've already done. Not to say their work is invalid, but to say that perhaps they can make it stronger. I'm thinking of 2 or 3 ladies that might take the easier route because today they want to just have an easier day.
Yeah. So Lexiles that are under 500, is that what you're saying?
Like the very bottom one can be between 300 and 500 on Newsella, and then for some students that's appropriate. But there's 2 or 3 on VCAM in particular that may not challenge themselves to like 800, 900. And if that's the case, it'd be interesting if I don't catch it to see if you do, and see if we can push them.
Okay, so I will be walking around the room then today, okay?
Sure. Which is what I plan on doing most of the period once we finish this at the document camera. And I'm not sure if I want them to take the time to write this down as a model or if I want to just leave that projected. Do you have a feeling one way or the other?
Okay. personally, I always like to have an example of.
So I'll probably leave this projected,
Yeah.
because they know how to navigate to Newsela and to Google Cost per Plan.
And I guess if they do struggle with getting to the link, then maybe just helping them individually. But I always like an example up on the board, you know,
Okay.
for them to look at. Just because it's another model for them, you know? When you go through it, you're modeling, but if it stays up there, then the model doesn't go away.
Right. And so, you know, there is an anchor chart of how to summarize on the door, and I need to go make sure I post today's objectives and clean up my board work. But there are multiple places that they will be able to look between
Okay,
this example, the
good.
anchor chart, the objectives, and then maybe the agenda if they get really stuck. Like, well, what do I do? I go to
Right.
Newsela. What do I do? I
Right.
write my article.
And maybe while you're modeling, just point out those other sources again that
Sure.
remember the anchor chart, remember this. These are all things that can help you in the process. So, okay, it looks well planned out, and I'm excited to go see what they have to do.
Well, I'm excited to have you again.
Yeah.
All right.